Praise ye Yahuwah. Sing unto the Yahuwah a new song, and his praise in the congregation of saints. Let Israel rejoice in him that made him. Let the children of Zion be joyful in their king. Let them praise his name in the dance. Let them sing praises unto him with the timbrel and harp. For the I Am taketh pleasure in his people. He will beautify the meek with salvation. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praises of the mighty God be there in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand. Ah, yes. We're not talking about the New Testament. And execute vengeance upon the heathen, and punishment upon the people, and to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. In this honor have all his saints. Praise ye Yahweh. Oh, praises to the name of the Most High. Yes, yes, yes. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have sway over the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray, my God. Establish me and my seed, that we go not astray henceforth and forevermore. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Yes, a beautiful day. God woke you up this morning and caused you to even have a new day to understand and know him, that you might be delivered. Yes, that you might be delivered. Yes, yes, yes. And I realize one thing. One thing I can say about that Sahil, that Charara, he gives praise and glory to God. I mean, you never seen many presidents or leaders sit down and actually pray with the people. Now in the United States, they go to their churches, but the only time they go there is to get a vote. They never go back after they're elected. Matter of fact, if anything, they're sending their enforcers back after they're elected to do something else. Even your mayors and your governors, they all go to the black churches. They go to the different churches and they try to put on their facade, but they could care less about God. They could care less about knowing and understanding the Most High. Yes, many do. It's mostly a facade, something that we do, put it that way. Now, we're going to say this now with a hand clap of praise. We thank God for those of you that have been with us at the beginning, and those of you that have been with us here and thereafter, and those of you that have just subscribed. We thank God for those of you who are about to subscribe and like. Thank you. Okay, we're in the book of Judges, still in the book of Judges, in the last few chapters of Judges. Excuse me. Judges. And we're in chapter 18, and we ended with verse 20. Yes, we ended with verse 20 to go on to verse 21. And it's talking about the Danites, how they took the priests from this one Hebrew, and he mixed God with idols. I mean, it seems so delightful. The Danites did not do any better. Now here it goes again. It says now, these people have been turned. They've been tested and they've been turned. But this time, just as many all over the world, many Israelites, many Judeans, or should I say, Judeans, Israelites and Judeans alike, have mixed God with idolatry. We've mixed God with idolatrous things. God said he's by himself. There's nobody beside him. See and know I am he. You can look that up. Just search it. See and know I am he. Besides me, there is no other God. There's nobody that gives God counsel. There's nobody that instructs God that he has to listen to. But he gives instruction. He tells his angels when and where to go and what to speak. Just as the angels would tell men when and where and what to speak in God's name. Yes, they will do this. They don't take any glory for themselves. Now, and even in the least little sin for these messengers, these spirit messengers, they will have to join the ranks of the devils and demons and fallen angels. Yes, they will. And the Satans. This is where their ranks are. Now, and they will be judged. They have no way to turn back. They have no left nor right. This is what he's saying when he has these spirits before him. the ones that are before him forever, he faces them and they faces him, the wheel in the middle of the wheel. And you have these four-faced beings that are standing before him. The way he goes, they turn not. This is an order that the Most High have ordered for himself. Nobody ordered this for him. He has no counselor. No. Now, let's continue. And there's the mystery of the Most High will. Yes, that part is right. It will be revealed in the end. The mystery of the Most High. There's really no mystery. He reveals himself all throughout the scriptures. But it's us on our own agendas. Many of us, we have sins and we have things that we want to have in reserve. So we make God to be whom we want. Or we accept things that would let us do what we want to do without feeling guilty. In other words, let me be a liar, but let God be true. As far as his laws, commandments, statutes, and ordinances. That is where we should stand, right there. And when I find myself a liar, then I go repent. When I find myself a liar, an adulterer, a fornicator, or whatever, I do not try to justify those things. No man should that ever really wants to seek God and know God should never justify his sins before the Most High, because you're found a fool. And in Judges chapter 18 and verse 21, the Danites. So they turned and departed and put the little ones and the cattle. These were like a few hundred men now. If you read above this scripture here, or this passage here. And they turned and departed and put the little ones and the cattle in the carriage before them. And when they were good away from the house of Micah, the men that were in the house near Micah's house were gathered together and overtook the children of Dan. And they cried unto the children of Dan, and they turned their faces and said unto Micah, What aileth thee, that thou comest with such a company? Now, this is Micah. He comes back. And he says, Ye have taken away my gods. So if you take this and sublimate it to today's things that are happening, they're gods. How many gods have there? Peace be upon him. If a man's dead, if you're Muhammad, if you're Jesus, and all these are dead, what peace does he have? Only the peace. You can't cry peace upon him. How foolish can that seem? You may hate me, you may want to kill me. Who cares? I have nothing to lose. No. You just have to deal with the preamble of separating from this Bible, from this body. That's all. Because I know my God will receive me. Put me in a place where he's ready. When he's ready, I will join him. Yes, I know that because I believe that. Now, you don't. Ain't no peace upon no man. Once you dead, there's no peace. The living cannot pray for the peace of the dead, neither declare the peace for the dead. No way. This is a religious jargon. That's all it is. Now, it said, Ye have taken away my gods which I made in the priest, and ye are gone away. Yes, they took your pastor. They took your deacons. They took all these things, and you come to war. What have I more? You have nothing but what you see. What is this that ye made? They can't steal God. They can't steal his spirits, his ministering spirits, his messaging spirits. They cannot steal them. But they can steal your idols, which are dumb, that you stand before and you carry into war, you kiss, and you lay in your bed and you have them lining your walls. The picture of the white Jesus and your black Jesus, showing people how to be idolatrous just as you. Yes, you do. Now he says, and the children of Dan and Micah went their way and saw that they were too strong for him. And he turned back and went unto his house. And they took the things which Micah had made, and the priest which he had, I'm in verse 27, and came to Laish unto a people that were at quiet. They were at peace and secure. And they smote them with the edge of the sword and burnt the city with fire. Don't this remind you of colonizations? They not only stole your gods, they smote you because you were at peace. You were welcoming the colonizer. Come join us. Let me tell you something, colonizer. You can have relations with any black woman you want to, man. But you cannot destroy God's people. Because this is the whole thing. This is why you kill men too. Black men at that. Because the seed is in the man, the bloodline, or should I say the seed line that God deals. I don't care how you pay somebody or deceive somebody to say, oh, it's in the woman. It's the... No, no, no. You cannot get rid of the male. You cannot get rid of the male of Jacob, the males of Jacob that God has determined that should destroy that idol that Daniel saw, representative of the governments and high powers and hierarchies in the world. You cannot destroy that. You can have as many little babies that look black if you want to. It doesn't matter. The women just as foolish as they lay with you because of money or advantage. That's about all they want. Money or advantage. And they claim they love you, but they're loving your potential. They're not loving you. See, this is the difference between true love, which is by the commandments, statutes, and ordinances of the Most High, and false love. We love God for who He is, not for what He can give us. Yes. And we love Him, we prove our love by doing those things that please Him. Yes, we do. Now, let's continue. And they took the things Micah had. It says, they burned the city with fire. We're in verse 28. And there was no deliverer, because it was far from Zidon, and they had no business with any man. See, the United States is one place where, even Europe, the black man or the African had no deliverer. Who has a law against us? There's no international court of justice. There's nobody here to tell us. We go by what the Pope says and what our government says, or our king. Any man that is not found to be a Christian, then you will overtake that king. In the book of the Discoverers, written by Daniel Bornstein, verbatim. This man was even allowed into the Vatican, the coffers of the Vatican, and saw this very edict. According to him, yes. Now, so they wasn't Christians. They weren't idolaters. These are idolaters against idolaters. And there was no deliverer because it was far from Zidon. The United States is far from everybody. So they do what they did in South America. They did what they wanted to do to whoever they wanted to do it to. Because they had the gun. If it was not for the gun, it would be a war that they would eventually lose. It would be some competition, but they would lose. They would be dead, really, not even to go back home. No. So this is why God will even allow, see, the Chinese really regret what they have done. To give those Vatican, or should I say those priests, the ideal for gunpowder, saltpeter, and other chemicals that go with it. Now, this is really one other chemical, that's it. And they took it home and they came up with the gun. They saw what it could do. It could project something out real fast. That way I won't have to fight. And today you say, I want gun control. You should have did it back then, dummy. But either way, and now you want to take it and you want to, your people can have the guns, your people can have the rights, but those that are not, do not look like you cannot. You get jealous and you get afraid. They haven't done nothing to you thus far. Nothing that can be notable. Not yet. But it shall be one day. And that's what you fear. That's what you fear. But the fact is, let us continue. There was no deliverer because it was far from Zidon. And we're going to keep going. And it was in the valley that lieth at Beth house of Rehob, or Beth Rehob. And they built a city and dwelt therein. In other words, they built. The one thing about Jacob's people, we know how to build. Jacob's children will build. You can take everything all the way down to the naked body and they still will find some way to rebuild. Look at Africa. A lot of Africa are people of the children of Jacob. Many of them are. But then you have those that have influenced them, is why they have idolatry mixed with God. And that is, you have children of Shem, other children of Shem. Now, and they built a city therein, and then they called the name of that city Dan. Yeah, they were Danites, yeah. After the name of Dan, their father, who was born unto Israel. Howbeit the name of the city was Laish at first. Now it's Dan, okay. And the children of Dan set up a graven image. And Jonathan, the son of Gershom, the son of Manasseh, and he and his sons were priests to the tribe of Dan until that day. Check it out. Jonathan, the son of Gershom, and the son of Manasseh. These were not Levites. They had no right, they had no appointment to even be a priest or minister to the children of the Most High. No way. No nothing. Not a prophet, not Levite, no nothing. Just like many of you these days, you are bastards. Call yourself prophesying out of some spirit that is not of God. Yes, that church spirit might be true as far as what it's saying because it heard. And it's telling you familiar with what's going on in heaven and God's plan. Maybe that's a spirit that come to you and told you things because it has been cast out. But yet it's going to make you think that you got the big info. Many of them are deceivers. See, we work on two planes here. We don't work just on one. Now, he says now, and the children set up the graven image. Jonathan, the son of Gershom, the son of Manasseh, and he and his sons were priests to the tribe of Dan until the day of captivity of the land. And they set them up Micah's graven image, which he made all the time that the house of God was in Shiloh. Now, this is what is happening now. Idolatry. This is why you see me with yesterday's, or should I say yesterday's headings and backgrounds was that of idolatry. Things that God took, detestable things that God detests that we do. Yes, detestable things. Now, here we go again. We're going to go to chapter 19. And in chapter 19 and verse 1, and it came to pass in those days there was no king. See, we're leading up to a king now. Where they want something that they can see, they can idolize, that they can see. This is where you have to be careful, man and woman of the Most High, that follows the Most High. You have to be careful of the men you hold in esteem, to what height you hold them to esteem, because there is a problem here. Their word comes before God's words, and this is really the dilemma of Christianity and all other religions that are derived from the writings that God had delivered unto Shem, even unto Moses. This is the dilemma. You holding man up above God. The idolatry. This is why you say, oh, we were good people. We were church-going folks, but my son got killed he was demised in a traffic stop. All he had was one dark bulb. Or his windows were lightly tinted, but they did something and say they were darkly tinted. Then you go ahead on and say, why did they look through the window and shoot through there? Like they were crazy. Because you have been deceived over these years, and even more deceived once colonization hit and slavery. Let me tell you something. You've lost it. You cannot get back because you're blinded. All you see is your way and the way that has been taught you all your life. That's it. Even though the truth may be shown you and shown plain as day in black and white in the doctrines and the teachings that they have in these books that God has showed you, even his commandments, statutes, ordinances, and laws. You cannot accept them because you have been lost. The New Testament has caused you to be blinded, and therefore shall cause even your sentence to be that of darkness and torment. Yes. Now, let's continue. Okay. It says now, and it came to pass, in those days there was no king, that there was a certain Levite sojourning on the side of Mount Ephraim, who took him a concubine out of Bethlehem, Judah. And this concubine played the whore against him. Now, she played the whore. See, as I said before, a concubine. She's not married to you. She's like a side chick in a way. But she's dedicated, both of you are dedicated to take care of her the rest of her life, and she's dedicated to being your woman or like a wife without the benefits of a wife as long as you both live. Now, these two were, in other words, they were sort of like engaged. It's hard to explain this part here. It's like a girlfriend. They were not married. He was not married. She was not married according to this. Now, they went away from his father's house. They lived there. They weren't married yet. So they went to Bethlehem in Judah, house of bread in Judah, and was there 4 whole months. And her husband arose and went after her. They were in adultery. He was her husband. This is what it's saying. And went after her to speak friendly unto her, and to bring her again, having his servant with him, and a couple of asses. And she brought him unto her father's house. And when the father of the damsel saw him, he rejoiced to meet him. Let me read this again. This was the priest, the Levite. He took him a concubine out of Bethlehem, and his concubine played the whore against him, and went away from him unto her father's house in Bethlehem, Judah. And there were whole 4 whole months. Her husband, now he calls her husband, and went after her to speak friendly unto her, and bring her again, having his servants with him, and a couple of asses. And she brought him into her father's house. And when the father damsel saw him, her husband, although they wasn't formally married according to this, he rejoiced to meet him. And his father-in-law, the damsel's fathers, retained him, and he abode with him 3 days, so that they did eat and drink and lodge there. His father was glad because his father liked him. Yes, he liked him. And it came to pass, now, a Levite cannot marry anybody. A Levite cannot marry anybody of any other nation, only another Levite woman. And the only Levite he can marry that had been with a man is that Levite woman that was married, is widowed. That's it. No, none other. Or else it's sin unto him. And it came to pass on the 4th day, when they arose early in the morning, that he arose up to depart. And the damsel's father says unto his son-in-law, comfort thine heart with a morsel of bread, and go after your way. Go your way. And they sat down, and they did eat and drink, both of them together. For the damsel's father had said unto the man, be content, I pray thee, and tarry all night, and let thy heart be merry. And when the man rose up to depart, his father-in-law urged him, therefore he lodged there again. And he rose early in the morning in the 5th day, and depart. The damsel's father said, comfort thy heart, I pray thee. And they tarried until afternoon, and they did eat, both of them. And when the man rose up to depart, and his concubine, now she's a concubine again, and his servant and his father-in-law, the damsel's father, said unto him, behold, now the day draweth toward evening. I pray you tarry all night, and behold, the day groweth to an end. Lodge here, that thine heart may be merry, and to go, and tomorrow get you early on your way, that thou mayest go home. Why is she his concubine and then his wife? Maybe there was no formal marriage or wedding. When you copulate with a woman, man, that is your wife. This is what God is angry with. You leave children fatherless. You leave single-parent homes and all these things because of your desire to want to do what you feel you should do. And woman, you the same. When you copulate with a woman, that is your wife. Period. Even without a ceremony, without a ring, without state consent, without father or mother consent, she is thus called a concubine. Especially once you have determined, oh, I'll marry you, that's your concubine, that's your wife, period. And when you go copulate with another man's wife, that's adultery. If she does it, it's adultery. Oh, how much we have been messed up in the word of Most High and not really understanding, not even seeking God, not even giving Praise and honor unto him who possesses all things. Yes, how much it has been tangled and twisted, though his words with us. He turned us backwards. According to Deuteronomy 28, these things are so. Yes. Now, and the man would not tarry that night in verse 10, but he rose up and departed and came over against Jebus. This is Jerusalem. Really, it's found right across from Sodom and Gomorrah. It's on the other side. Sodom and Gomorrah is on the other side of the Dead Sea, sort of like up in the peninsula-like thing. It's a Sodom and Gomorrah. But then if you look over, Jebus is really Tel-Ad. Even it says that on the sign. King Arad was right next to Jebus. But yet you get these counterfeits, those who say they are but are not, and they put Jerusalem in another area. Now this is a Jerusalem, but it's not the Jerusalem that David had conquered. No, it's not. And the day was far spent, and the servant said unto his master, Come, I pray ye, and let us turn into this city of the Jebusites. This was before King David enlarged in it. Now, these, to them, the Israelites were the colonizers, but they was not. That was their land. Now, in America, the European Americans are the colonizers, and the rest, it's their land, other than those who come from another country. Yes, it's their land. Now, let us continue. And his master said unto him, We will not turn aside hither into the city of a stranger. This is not of the children of Israel. We will pass over unto Gibeah. Now what he says, this is not the children of Israel. He understood this. This is not right. These people are Canaanites. 13. And again, colonization. You think God gonna let you have this land forever just because you build highways and byways and you got all kind of things built up and all this? You in for a grave mistake, brother. A grave mistake. God gonna give the lands back to whom he have given them to from the beginning. Regardless, there's nothing you can do about it. You can laugh, joke, smile, smirk, whatever you want to do. Go ahead, be good. But when it comes upon your children, if it comes upon you, note that God had done what he said he will do, and that the meek really shall inherit the earth. Now, and he said unto his servant, Come, let us draw near to one of these places to lodge all night, Gibeah or in Ramah. And they passed on and went their way. And the sun went down upon them, and they were in Gibeah, which belongeth unto Benjamin. Okay? And they turned aside thither to go in and to lodge in Gibeah. And when he went in, he sat down in a street of the city, for there was no man that took them into his house to lodging. Now listen. And behold, there came an old man from his work out of the field at even, which was also of Mount Ephraim. And he sojourned in Gibeah, but the men of the place were Benjamites. And when he had lifted up his eyes, he saw a wayfaring man in the street of the city. And the old man says, Whither goest thou? And whence comest thou? He said unto him, We are passing from Bethlehem, Judah, toward the south of the side of the Mount of Ephraim. From thence I am. Now, it's not that like the cops telling you where you coming from. It's none of their business. He could have said that too. And I went to Bethlehem, Judah, but I am now going to the house of the I am, and there is no man that receiveth me to house. We're going to leave it right here. And you're going to see the true wickedness that have encompassed and that have possessed the children of Jacob at this point. We're going to end it at verse 18. Just in case I forget, you can remind me in the comments. But either way, with all this, we're going to say, remember God and teach your children. And with that, you will have peace.
Walk with me.